The movie 300 was a box office hit and it got a lot of attention, but it got me thinking, what can we learn about finance and productivity from this movie? In case you missed the movie, 300 was all about a fictionalized retelling of the Battle of Thermopylae. This battle took place as part of the wars between Greece and Persia. The movie follows the protagonist, King Leonidas, who was the king of the Greek city-state of Sparta. Leonidas leads only 300 Spartans into battle against the Persian god king Xerxes and his invading army of more than 300,000 soldiers. The movie 300 follows how this battle takes place. Now, despite the movie's popularity, what was shown in the movie was largely historically inaccurate. It missed critical historical details and it took a very simplistic, idealized view of the Spartan society, which was problematic and disturbing in many ways. It also showed Persians as monsters and non-Spartan Greeks as weak and ineffective. The plot of the show was cool, but historically wrong in just so many ways. However, the way the movie was shot, its cinematography, its music, and visual effects, that made it an instant hit. Let's face it was pretty dope.
This is Sparta!
So what I'd like to do in today's video is take this movie with a grain of salt and look at what we can learn from this movie from a financial and productivity lens. Just remember, as we analyze this stuff, we're assuming everything shown in the movie was accurate. The first thing that really jumps out at you is how much each side spent on the war. The Persian army, led by King Xerxes, had around 300,000 soldiers, and that included immortals, cavalry, and naval forces. Some say that the cost of maintaining a soldier in ancient times was similar in both in Persia and Sparta. So if we just take the sheer number of soldiers under Xerxes, which was around 300,000, and compare it to the measly 300 on the Spartan side, assuming the same cost, Leonidas would be spending about 0.1% of how much Xerxes spent. Again, this is purely assuming that the movie was accurate. In reality, researchers show that the amount of money invested in both sides was a lot closer. But for the sake of this video, assuming that the movie was correct, 0.1% expense compared to the other side is a pretty wild amount, especially given how effective the Spartan side was. The ROI on their cost and expenses was sky high compared to the other side. Today, based on this movie, King Leonidas might just be a Silicon Valley startup founder, bootstrapping his business but still raking in profits. So what does it take for an army to be as strong as that of King Leonidas when he's only spending 0.1% of the money compared to his enemies? It all comes down to capability building. According to the movie, the Spartans spent an enormous amount of time building the skills and capabilities of its warriors. From a very young age, the brutality of the training that they had to endure made them seasoned fighters, highly trained, disciplined, and fast. The amount of training and capability building that the Spartans did was probably not matched by the other side. Now don't get me wrong, the lesson here is not to overwork your employees or anything like that. It's just a unique example that shows investing in your human resources means you can rely on them when the time comes. And in the case of King Leonidas, the investments and hardships endured by his team formed a lifelong process of training and building skills that really paid off in the end. The last lesson is acting as one unit, which is a great lesson in effective organizational behavior. Team building and effective organizational behavior played a pretty significant role in the outcome of the battle. According to the movie, the Persian forces, despite their impressive numbers, lacked cohesion. The Persian forces had soldiers from various nations with different languages, cultures, and battle tactics, but they lacked unity and organization in the way that the Spartan forces did. Despite having a variety of soldiers with a wide range of skills and backgrounds, the lack of orchestration and coordination amongst them ultimately contributed to their defeat. In contrast, the Spartan forces were unified in their purpose and in their tactics.
Spartans! What is your profession?
The movie shows how they built strong organizational effectiveness from a very young age. Their shared background and training fostered a strong sense of unity and trust among them. This cohesion allowed them to work together seamlessly and adapt to the changing battlefield conditions, always giving them an upper hand. Now, whether 300 was entirely historically accurate or not, the movie provides some valuable insights in the fields of finance and productivity. So here's a quick recap from what we can learn from this movie. Number 1, quality over quantity. The Spartans focused on training a small elite force, and they reaped the benefits of investing time in developing a highly skilled and disciplined team. Number 2 is unity and trust. The strong sense of unity among Spartan soldiers played a vital role in their success. This shows how creating a culture where individuals have one common vision and trust each other leads to greater productivity. Number 3 is the costs of disorganization. The Persian forces had massive numbers and financial resources on their side, yet they were defeated due to a lack of cohesion and organization. So the lesson here is no matter how much you invest behind fancy tools and equipment, without strong organization and coordination and even a common vision, you're doomed to fail. And number 4 is lifelong learning. Okay, take this one with a pinch of salt, but in the movie, they show how they start training from a very young age in awfully brutal ways. But if you strip away the shock value of the movie, the takeaway is keep learning from a very young age and keep learning as you grow. Lifelong learning made the Spartans effective. I hope this will help you look at 300, the movie, in a slightly different lens the next time you see it. If you like this video, consider checking out this video that I made about the medieval wars and how they were financed back in the day. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon.